The first couple of days were full on and we were straight into big winds, 30, 35 knots. It was big waves, big winds, full on conditions, absolutely sending it with walls of water coming down the boat. After that freight train where we set off, we then started jibing our way, working our way west and south on the shifts, trying to stay with the fleet. But we'd lost a few miles in those first few days that we never really got back. And we went from being all the way to the east of the fleet but further south and then to the west. And I think sometimes when you keep swapping sides like that, you lose out a little bit.
We brought two of the greatest grinders on the world. Three.
I'm a father for second time, a small girl, second daughter, just 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago.
Got to the doldrums and it actually passed relatively easy. It's probably the easiest doldrums crossing I've had in a very long time. By 5 degrees north we were out the other side, upwind in southeasterly trade winds. So with that ticked off, it was then on to the equator. And that was a big milestone for us with our crews. 6 of our crew hadn't been racing around the world, hadn't raced across the equator, so they had to meet King Neptune and have their initiation. And from the southern hemisphere onwards, we were pretty much in sight with Scallywag the whole way. So for nearly 5,000 miles, we've been racing alongside or within sight of Scallywag. It was an ocean match race and you don't often get that, and that really ramped up the intensity because you couldn't afford to make any mistakes or be off your numbers at all. And you're always going to have a bad day or a bad hour, and you just need to recognise that and keep the pressure on.
Jibe, no sleep, French alarm clock, loss, jibe, no wind, loss.
We had 20 knots on the way in, downwind, nice fast sailing, and we knew that the bay offers some very tricky conditions and everything can change. We had 2 miles space between us and Scallywag, and 4 miles ahead were AXA Nobel. They got in ahead of us, and so our race was with Scallywag again. We lost 2 miles today to them, and then we got it back to within a couple of boat lengths. So it's fair play to these guys working hard to make that happen. That's why I just wanted the result to go the other way.
And of course, very tight, only a few meters, a few minutes separating you from the next position.
I know, we've just had Scallywag in our sights since the southern hemisphere, and that result was not what we deserved. These guys deserve more, and I'm gutted for them.
We crossed behind just for one length after 6,000 miles. That's a bit disappointing because we want a different result, but at the same time we saw that we can really push the boat and we can really push ourselves. We learn and we're trying to put in practice this learning in the next leg, of course.